What's up guys? We're back again with Trash or Treasure. In this series, I searched through the YouTube comment section to find out your guys' top decks, test them out for myself, and see if they're deserving to be dumped or if they'll triumph as treasure. I'm gonna be rating each deck and give improvements along the way if we can make the deck better. It's time to dive into the comment section, see what strategies we find, and assert dominance. Lots of love to everyone that's supporting the channel with creator code SirTag. Wright's got a giant Skeleton-Goblin giant deck, which I've never seen before. It's time to test it. So jumping into the game against Los Legendaros, it feels like he's in a legendary clan. Oh, come on, dude. The first play that you want to do is drop a big, hefty bag of rocks in the back. So, you know, the deck defense of our deck is really good. That's not the thing that I'm scared about. But I am scared about our opponent seemingly going all in on offense at the start without a shred of sanity. He is just going in for all of his stuff on my side of the map. I'm going to go for a fireball here. Unfortunately, because our card cycle is quite clunky, I wasn't able to get a bomb tower down. I just didn't have it in my cycle originally. So we ended up getting blasted with around 800 damage there. However, maybe we can see how this deck functions correctly, right? If we get the giant skeleton ahead of the goblin giant, will it be able to blast anything down so then the goblin giant can lock onto the tower? Is that what you're trying to do? Ah, come on. It wasn't able to work. And this guy's got mini Pekka and goblin cage as well. So he's got multiple defensive answers that are quite good against the goblin giant. So here's something that I'm thinking. Because I don't have rage, because I don't have lightning, because I don't have another supplementary win condition, I have to get the goblin giant on the tower, which is not necessarily a very reliable thing since it moves pretty slowly and it's usually paired with rage and sparky and double princes. So you got to figure something else in the deck for good offense. As you saw, even with a bad card cycle, I was able to defend a golem all-in push at the very start. The defenses are awesome. The offenses, they're rather lacking. So we will see what we'll do by the end of the game, and we'll give you some different suggestions. But right now, I'm kind of trying to concentrate on winning here. If we go for a giant skeleton in the back, and we know he goes golem, then that's a good trade. But I don't know where he's going to drop the golem, so I can't get away with that. Can we outcycle him? I don't think so. He's probably going to go in for a mini Pekka. So let's try to make a prediction with the skeleton army. He doesn't go for mini Pekka. Oh, he does. Let's go. Please surround and pound the mini Pekka. Give me the damage. That's what I'm talking about. So if you know your opponent's card cycle, you can make predictions and you can get really good positive elixir trades like you guys just saw. But, I mean, I had a very narrow margin to make that offensive push, and I still didn't even take his tower. If you make a good push with Sparky and you make predictions, like raging on top of skeletons and then Sparky blasts your opponent in the face, you take their entire tower, right? We made a prediction and we didn't even do more than half of his tower there. So a little bit sketchy and scary, but it is what it is. We're trying to put him in a position where he's in an awkward card cycle again. So we're going to go for a skeleton army again so we can snipe the mini Pekka, and we'll see how this works. He's going to go for a barbarian barrel this time. I wonder if the dark goblin's able to kill the mini Pekka. It does, but it's not enough. See, the goblin giant just doesn't have enough health if he's not supported by other stuff. He can't break through buildings. So we can maybe outcycle him because I know that the card cycle is quicker than a golem cycle. So I am going to go in for a goblin giant here. Giant skeleton is going to give him some problems as well. I'm going to zap immediately on the spear goblins. I'm going to try to get back to a bomb tower. Oh, that one bat though. That bat is hitting a home run. Let's go. Give me more damage. If I fireball and then I dark goblin at the river, the dark goblin would have locked onto the tower, but I didn't want to play too risky here. I'm gonna go for a dark goblin off to the side to peer through and see what we can do and see if we can snipe all the golemites. Oh my gosh, the baby dragon was inches away from hitting my dark goblin. I was like, wait, it's gonna work out for my opponent, please no. So now we can finally formulate an offensive push and made sure that I went in the other side. Notice how I didn't drop anything in the right-hand side the entire game. Going same side would be a death sentence because he would defend with mini Pekka and then he would counter push with a golem and then I would have lost. So I won this game more so outplaying my opponent than relying on the deck's synergy. I love the card concept of Goblin Giant and Giant Skeleton, but there has to be some switching up here. Otherwise, I would rate this a 5.5 out of 10 simply because the offensive presence is so lackluster. The idea behind Giant Skeleton and Goblin Giant is incredibly unique. When opponents see one of them, they're definitely not expecting the other. Giant Skeleton is great on offense and defense, while Goblin Giant recently got a pretty big buff and is by far one of the most fun win conditions in the game. game. If you rage up the Goblin Giant, you can remove distractions that are on top of it and make the Spirit Goblins fire even faster if it locks on a tower. We've removed Bomb Tower and put in Lightning so you can break through buildings a bit more effectively. And we've added Archers for extra spell bait synergy. You can keep Dark Goblin in the deck, but I personally prefer Firecracker for added annoyance and extra survivability. Firecracker doesn't die to log like a Dark Goblin would, and it just stays on the map a lot longer. If you make these changes to the deck, the offensive potential will skyrocket, and I think this could at least be a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. Edwin's asking us to trust him because he just pushed up 400 trophies with his deck. All right, on to the next one. So this deck is very unique. I love the concept of running Hog-Mortar with a rail delivery for defense and offense, just at the top of the tier. But the difficulty for me is you've got a poison with Hog Rider. The reason why poison is absolutely awful in any Hog Rider deck is because the Hog Rider wants to break through buildings. Poison does damage over time. So since it does damage over time, it doesn't allow you to immediately break through buildings like an Earthquake or a Lightning would. Typically in this type of deck with Mortar and Mighty Miner and Hog Rider, you will always want Earthquake, especially since the rail delivery already gives you such stellar anti-air answers, right? If you've got good anti-air answers, you don't need the Earthquake to be able to damage things in the air, like a Fireball or a Poison, right? So just try to use Earthquake with your Hog Rider decks or Lightning with your Hog Rider decks if you guys are looking for a good big spell. Fireball is also useful as well, but Poison is a big no-no. So we're going to go in for a Hog Rider here on the left-hand side and see what he's cooking. Definitely want to go in for a rail delivery on top of this minion horde. I was thinking about poisoning. I was perusing with the poison, but then I realized that I don't have any other way of killing his Elixir Collector. Imagine if I had Earthquake, it would do even better trades. If you guys didn't know, the only way of getting a positive Elixir trade against an Elixir Collector with the spell is using Earthquake. Every other spell in the game gives a negative Elixir trade ever since the Elixir Collector started to give a +1 Elixir advantage as it expires. If you guys don't know what I mean, look at the Elixir Collector. Right as it dies, it gives an extra Elixir. So right as it's about to pop right now, it's going to give an Elixir. That's the difficulty. That's how it's hard to get good trades against. That's why so many pros hate playing against it. So if you're running Earthquake, you're going to be set. If you're running Miner or Goblin Drill and it gets on top of it, you will also be set. So generally what we try to do here is I want to go Mighty Miner. I want to go and pop the ability, go onto the Musketeer, pull everything back, and then go for rail delivery to clean up the rest of the other stuff. So I'm okay eating some damage on the right-hand side. It's not the end of the world. Also, the Mortar. Wow, that was great. So we know he's going to go for Minion Horde because he doesn't end up having his Goblin Gang in cycle. So I am going to go in for a pre-poison on the Minion Horde because that's all he's got. Oh, he's going to drop it later. Well, he still was forced into doing it. You guys saw that, right? There's only one available play. And since the Minion Horde's out of cycle, I think he's going to 3 Musketeers in the back because I don't have poison. We're going to go in for a Mortar immediately so then he doesn't have that potential of doing it. Then we're going to go for a Musketeer and we're going to try to tornado all of his Musketeers together so then we can rail delivery on top of them. That would be the most optimal transaction for us. I'm going to wait for the Battle Ram to connect so then I can use my rail delivery and then just make sure that I get the best trade possible. Also, if you guys are ever scared of your opponent dropping a Minion Horde at you, if they don't have a tank with it, you could just drop a Hog Rider and pull it back and be chilling. So we're in a great spot. Look at the Hog Rider hammer twice. Oh, that is so nice. I can go in for another Mortar here. If you guys didn't know, the Battle Ram does get pulled if you drop your Mortar, still targeting the left-hand tower. So notice how the Mortar would be targeting the left-hand tower with that orientation. It would still hit the left-hand tower, and it would give me a great trade overall. So I'm going to go Tornado all the Musketeers on one side, as I said before. It's pretty important to do. It's even better for us now because he has no Musketeers defending. So we can go in for, like, probably a rail delivery here, and then maybe go for bats and be completely content with our defense. I believe. Yeah, we're fine, right? It was a little bit sketchy, but we do walk with win because the Musketeer hits his tower before he's able to afford the Minion Horde. So, as you guys can see, if you pull all the Musketeers to one side, you're going to be in a great spot against Muskies if you use your rail delivery. But, I gotta be honest, that matchup, Tornado is extremely useful, but looking at the deck, there aren't too many other cards that take full advantage of the Tornado. We don't have Ice Wizard, we don't have Splash Damage of Baby Dragon, there isn't a Golden Knight with the Tornado, you've got Mighty Miner. Since we have 0 splash damage and there's really no use for the Tornado besides pulling units the other side to finish off the game with your Hog Rider, I think I would take that out and put in a Log instead. Log is way more useful against bridge spam, knocking things back, sniping princesses, dark goblins, and crushing all the annoying bait cards that are in the meta. Also, if your opponent's got Zap or Snowball, you don't really have any other bait cards in your deck, so bats are not going to cut it. Instead of running bats, I would run Ice Spirit for an extra long stun, a faster card cycle, and it's just one of the best cards in the game. And lastly, you gotta remove poison and put in Earthquake instead. It is by far one of the best spells with Hog-Rider, and most top players are all running Earthquake. Currently, I would rate your deck a 7 out of 10 because Hog-Rider Mortar Rail Delivery is one of the best card combinations in the game. But when you unlock the deck's true potential and you run the deck that I'm showing right now, it would be a 9 out of 10. Professional players play the exact deck that I'm showing right now as their main deck in tournaments where hundreds of thousands of dollars are on the line. So if you swap to this deck, you'll have a lot more success. Beanos loves his bombs. He's got Giant Skeleton Balloon with Clone and a Rage somehow packed in there. Can't wait to test this out. This looks cool. Let's get it. So jumping into the action with this brand new deck. Out of all the decks today, honestly, it was the one that I was most looking forward to play. Looking at the synergy at a first glance, you've got great Fireball bait with the Zappies, the Ice Wizard, and then also you're going to end up having the Balloon plus Clone and Giant Skeleton. So there's so many different ways of baiting out your opponent's spells. And if they mess up and they don't have anything for a raised up Giant Skeleton Balloon push that's coming at them, yeah, they might be dead. So that's kind of what we're rolling with right now. We've got Clone with this Giant Skeleton, so I'm really excited. Wait, if I do one of these and I push the Giant Skeleton, is that going to work? It didn't really work. I wanted to pull his Pekka as well, but I thought about it. I was like, not really going to work out as I want. I'm just going to go for a bomb tower here. It should be able to pull the Pekka, and I am going to defend this. But was it the best offensive play potential? Not really. But you're still able to get away with a Clone and just test the waters because the Giant Skeleton Clone, at worst, will explode and then damage down your opponent's units as well. So, pretty cool. I also love the fact that you're going to have Tornado with this deck because you can activate King Tower against a variety of different win conditions. So if you're ever in a tricky situation and you don't know what to do, likely you can Tornado something to the King Tower and bail yourself out. Also, this guy is utilizing his poison right now. He doesn't know what's happening, right? He doesn't know what's about to hurt him here. He thinks it's just like a standard Giant Skeleton Clone deck because that's what he saw. He doesn't know that we're packing the Balloon. I'm so psyched for this. I want to see other anti-air answers relinquished in the right-hand side. Because if he does that, that's where the fun commences. So he's dropping the Pekka, not necessarily what we really wanted. I mean, I could clone up the Giant Skeleton for double death bombs out here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The Pekka is just going to take so much damage. And the Bandit got deleted. That just didn't feel fair. The defensive sequences that you can do with this deck is ridiculous. Also, the cloned up Ice Wizard. The cloned up Ice Wizard. He's like, what is this deck? He's so surprised right now. I love it. I love it. So we're going to go and split two Zappies in the left-hand side because if he poisons the right-hand side where he has the majority of his damage, then he's only going to tap one of the Zappies, which isn't a great trade for him. He might do that with a Zap to go and kill the Zappy, but he doesn't decide to. Okay, so now we're going to showcase our Balloon because we know that he only has an Electro Wizard, right? And if he's got an Electro Wizard and we can go and clone up this stuff and Tornado his Electro Wizard into us, how is he expecting to defend this? He can't. He can't do it because it's going to die to the bomb of the Giant Skeleton. Yo, it's gone. He has no anti-air answers. That's how this deck works. You build up one monster Giant Skeleton Balloon push, and what happens is the Giant Skeleton, when it's cloned up, the cloned one will die really quick. You Tornado their anti-air answers into that. You rage up your Balloon. You say goodbye to all their answers, and then they just lose the game because there's nothing that defends it. That's insane. So especially after Rocket got a nerf, not many spells can immediately kill raged up Balloon on the tower. Even though this guy had poison for the clone, it was never enough. Also, one other pro tip and trick is if you go in for a cloned up Balloon on top of a tower, your opponent cannot Tornado that cloned up Balloon directly to the King Tower. They have to Tornado it backward. A lot of people don't know that, and that instantly loses so many opponents the game if they're playing against cloned up Balloon and they try to activate King Tower. This deck is definitely a hidden gem, and I would rate it an 8.5 out of 10. The only real weakness is the slower card cycle, so if your opponent's gonna end up having a lot of anti-air answers, you're gonna have to wait until double or triple elixir so then you can go for a Giant Skeleton clone and then Tornado their stuff directly into the Balloon. There aren't any changes that I can make to the deck though because the synergy is rock solid. I love this creative twist because I've never seen a Giant Skeleton clone Rage Balloon deck. It's really hard to make a synergy with those cards that actually works because they take up so much space in the deck. I was actually trying to make one for the longest time, so credit to you for making such a successful slimy strategy. Akshay has specifically cooked up a Pekka deck for us. It's time to review it. Let's get it. So guys, we are going to be running a Pekka plus Goblin Barrel deck, which is an exquisite card combination that I have not seen in a long time. Oh my gosh, is this going to be Elixir Golem? Because he's already showcasing Battle Healer. He's going to have arrows. I think for once in our life, Pekka Valkyrie will give us absurd value. If you guys haven't done this Tombstone placement, it will pull the Elixir Golem all the way around. And then I can go in for a Firecracker here. So the good thing about this deck is the defense is super good. The offense, though, you've got a Pekka with a Goblin Barrel. So maybe against an Elixir Golem deck, like the deck that we're playing against right now, the defense to offense won't matter that much because I'm up so much Elixir because I had such a good defense. But most of the time, your opponent's not going to be giving you free Elixir to work with, right? Wait, if we snowball, we can reset the Inferno Dragon and then just continuously get more value. Why do you have double Infernos? The Ground Inferno with the Mighty Miner and then the Inferno Sister with the Inferno Dragon. What is this guy doing? He's crazy. So his arrows are out of cycle, so I want to go in for the Goblin Barrel to punish him when his spell is out of cycle. That's just the 101 with log bait. That's what you always got to do. Typically, I would like something in front of that, whether it's a Mega Knight or a Mighty Miner or something to be able to tank for that. You can't necessarily go in for like a Pekka at the river because Pekka just doesn't have that much HP. Yeah, always have to use that as a defensive card and counter push with it. So this card combination is definitely leaving me wanting a little bit more, you know? Usually you want bait cards that move fast, or if you're not running a bait card, you would want like a Mega Knight or a Prince or a Bandit that can dash and reliably move quickly at your opponent and punish them for misplays and synergize rather nicely with your other fast bait cards. For the Pekka, not necessarily what I like, but I'm sure we can cook something up for you if you do like Pekka with Goblin Barrel at the end. So we're going to go in for a Dark Goblin here. We're going to be able to finish off all the Elixir Golem blobs, and I think we can go for a Magic Archer off to the side. Also, Magic Archer, you are a Fireball bait card, but we have a lot of other log bait cards with you, so you seem very out of place here as well, my dude. I'm going to go in for a Goblin Barrel here with the Valkyrie, and then also, oh, we can't snowball back the Mighty Miner. But I do like the snowball in the deck. I think it's much better than Zap. Oh my gosh! Magic Archer, you're lining up! You really are working the magic for me. How much damage was that? And it's not even stopping anytime soon. If I go for a Pekka here, his Inferno Dragon's out of cycle. The Magic Archer's still in the tower, and he's still alive! Yo, give that Magic Archer a medal. He won my heart, and he might have won me the game. He is sniping units from the other side! Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you guys dislike playing against Elixir Golem, this might be one of the best decks in the game to beat Elixir Golem. But from a standard card orientation perspective, probably not it. Maybe the Pekka can 3-crown though. Oh, if I snowball, can we get a 3-crown? Pekka, one more shot, one more shot, one more shot. Yes! 3-crown, and our opponent didn't even take a single crown. As I said before, the offense should be lackluster if your opponent actually tries to defend their towers, maybe ends up running like one small spell like log and a quick card cycle. You're never going to be able to outcycle them then. Your Goblin Barrel will get always shut down by log, and the deck won't work so well. Also, having Valkyrie with a fast-paced deck, that is a huge no as well. It pains me to say this, despite how good Magic Archer was in the last game, he is not a good fit for this deck overall. Despite being a great card, you much rather have another win condition, so if your opponent's got one spell, you'll be able to give them some pain if they cycle it. So instead of Magic Archer, I would be putting in the Skeleton Barrel. It adds another layer of log bait as well, so if your opponent wastes their spell on the Goblin Barrel, Firecracker, or Dark Goblin, the Skeleton Barrel will punish them. And the Valkyrie is simply too slow for this deck. When you're on offense with your double barrels, Firecracker, and Dark Goblin rushing through, you're going to want something that can keep the same speed. So we're going to run Dark Prince to clean up all of our opponent's bait cards, so maybe the Pekka can give us a little bit more value. As is, I gotta put your deck at a 6.5 out of 10, but if you make those changes to build a better bait deck, I could see this deck bumped up to a 7.5 out of 10. Gordon's serving us up a Mega Knight Miner Rage deck. All right, we have got a Mega Knight deck to end the day in the best type of way, jumping all over towers. Hopefully, you never really know. Also, you know, the Prince jumps over the river too. He's like Mega Knight in training almost. All right, I'm going to go for the Prince in the back first play. Oh, this just doesn't feel right, right? When you cycle a 5 elixir card that you're never going to get back into a Sparky. Not a vibe. But here's the thing. This deck works so well from the first glance at defending against Sparky that hopefully I don't have issues, but I'm down so much elixir wasting a Prince for no reason. Okay, here's the thing. I want him to spend more elixir. Okay, cool. So we can go in for guards off to the side. If you guys notice what I did, I dropped my Electro Wizard first, so then the Sparky didn't blast the guards. And then I dropped the guards left, so then the mini Pekka didn't have the time to go towards the Electro Wizard. Okay, wait, he's going to have Skeleton Army in cycle. Remember, we've got double small spells. So the Electro Wizard is going to reset the tower, so it's going to target the miner. Oh, this is awesome. I am ready. Yo, ranged up knight. What level was that? What level was that? We leveled the tower because his levels were not up to the height they should have been. I have never seen a Mega Minion get deleted that fast in my entire life. What is this guy doing? Why would he have that in his deck? Oh no. He's got level 14 cards, but he has one level 6 Mega Minion, if I saw correctly. I don't know, guys. Stop the video. No rewinding. What level do you think it is? Because my editor is about to reveal it in 1, 2, 3. What level was it? I'm excited to see your guys' reaction. Let me know in the comment section if you guessed what it actually was before we showed it. That was crazy. That was pretty funny. So yeah, this deck has got obviously awesome offensive potential. He would have been in trouble even if it was a relatively even leveled Mega Minion. It still would have gotten deleted by our Phoenix. But that one got especially wrecked. So for the rest of the game, I'm pretty sure all I'm going to do is defend with my Mega Knight and Phoenix and guards, and this has got some of the best defenses in the game. So this deck is extremely good at counter pushing and punishing opponents when they make misplays. And as you guys saw, we were able to take the tower, destroy this guy's dreams in 1 second after he spent slightly too much elixir on his Sparky push. Any bait cards get destroyed by the rage and the arrows, and the Electro Wizard resets the tower on the miner, so your supporting cards at a low amount of health will stay alive so your opponent's towers won't survive. I also love the extra layers of defense. Even though I was down a lot of elixir cycling a Prince into the Sparky, I was still able to defend the super gimmicky strategy. Spam jumping headfirst into a Mega Knight, guards, and Electro Wizard reset is like bashing into a brick wall. But if I'm being honest, as is, the deck does lack a little bit of offense if left alone. If you're trying to break through fast cycle decks and you don't have wall breakers with Miner and Mega Knight, I don't think it's an optimal version of the deck. Every professional player is running wall breakers in decks like this, and if you just sub out the rage for wall breakers, the deck would be a lot better. Currently, because you have to rely on raged up Phoenixes or Mega Knights to get to tower, it's not going to work extremely well at top ladder. So as is, it's an 8 out of 10 for me. But it would rise up to a 9 out of 10 if you subbed out the rage for wall breakers. This exact deck is played in the top 200 in the world with wall breakers because they apply so much pressure. And it pairs perfectly with this deck too, since you already have arrows and log bait with your guards. Trash or Treasure is always one of my top series on the channel. It's a blast testing out your guys' decks, and the games today were bonkers. Especially that last Mega Knight game where the Mega Minion got blown to bits faster than I even thought was possible. I've never seen anything like that before in Clash Royale, much like today's video's treasure. Beanos' innovative Giant Skeleton Balloon deck takes the throne as the best deck of the day. The carefully crafted synergy of Ice Wizard and Zappies will keep you safe until double elixir. Especially if your opponent has to break through Bomb Tower Tornado 2, it's simply not going to happen. And in the later stages of the game, when you can afford a Giant Skeleton Balloon raged up and cloned, there's literally nothing that can stop it. You tornado everything in, and then you win. If you guys have more decks for me to try out, let me know down below in the comment section. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more daily videos, and have an incredible rest of your day.